Welcome to this explainer. I am so glad you're here. Today, whether you are an educator, a parent, or just someone interested in how we learn, we are bringing focus to an absolutely incredible, immersive 3-day math mission designed for 5th graders. We're looking at a curriculum called the Concession Stand, and what we're going to explore today is exactly how this lesson plan takes the traditionally rote, let's face it, sometimes dry topics of decimals and fractions and transforms them into a high-stakes, real-world business strategy simulation. Okay, let's dive right in.
So the curriculum's bold tagline is, "Run the stand, with the math, not the hype." And I love this, because it immediately sets the tone. We are not just doing standard worksheets today. We're exploring a lesson plan explicitly designed to teach real-world financial literacy and critical thinking. The students are literally put in charge of a simulated concession stand, and they have to navigate the very real difference between what looks like an amazing deal on the surface and what the math actually proves is the smart business decision.
The guiding philosophy behind this entire unit is built on what the creators call the patience framework. The core idea here is absolutely crucial. A lower price isn't a deal if you can't actually use the product. It demands judgment beyond just the number itself. You see, this forces students to use adult-level business judgment and avoid things like supply chain waste, rather than just blindly circling the lowest number on a page. It's all about teaching them how to think, not just what to calculate.
So here is our game plan for today. 1. Math, not the hype. 2. Day 1, the supplier. 3. Day 2, setting prices. 4. Day 3, game day. And finally, 5. Scaffolding and assessment.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Math, Not the Hype.
This 3-class period group format beautifully covers Common Core math standards for both decimals and fractions. But here's the thing, it doesn't just hand teachers a vague concept and wish them luck. It arms them with fully scripted daily playbooks, standards alignment, and robust assessment guides. It's a premium $19 resource designed to fit perfectly into a standard 45-minute class period, seamlessly blending rigorous math standards directly with collaborative teamwork.
Moving right along to Section 2, Day 1, the supplier.
On Day 1, these 5th graders step into the shoes of buyers. They're tasked with stocking water and popcorn by finding the absolute best value among 3 competing suppliers. So the key lesson here is contrasting the visual illusion of appearance, what looks like a giant big box deal, against the mathematical reality. And that mathematical reality is the unit price. The students quickly learn that the total price divided by the quantity is the only true measure of a product's value. Package size absolutely does not dictate the deal.
Now let me challenge you directly with the curriculum's own trap. Imagine students see an offer from a supplier called Big Deal for a 50-pack of water for $20. They also see a 50-pack of Big Bag popcorn for $30. It is literally the biggest box on the shelf. As a consumer, shouldn't they just jump on these massive packages? Instinctually, a lot of us are drawn to the bulk size, right? We just assume it's the best value. Let's be honest, it's the exact same trap most of us fall into at those big warehouse stores.
But the mathematical truth is completely different. When the students actually sit down and do the division, total divided by quantity, they discover that those massive 50-packs actually cost 40 cents per water and 60 cents per popcorn. No way, right? They're actually the most expensive options on the board. They lose out to Value Mart's 40-pack of water, which breaks down to just 35 cents a bottle, and Snack Stop's 25-pack of popcorn at exactly 50 cents a bag. It is a fantastic gotcha moment that immediately teaches them you have to divide to compare.
Okay, on to Section 3, Day 2, Setting Prices.
Now the students flip from buyers to sellers. They need to set their prices and decide which item they are going to aggressively market to their customers. Let's use some real business terminology to explain their dilemma here. They plan to sell the water they bought for $1, which gives them a 65-cent profit margin per bottle. They plan to sell the popcorn for $1.50, giving them a $1 profit margin per bag. Naturally, you'd want to push the popcorn, right? It makes way more money per sale. But wait, look at the expected volume chart. They're expected to sell 80 waters, but only 30 bags of popcorn.
And this leads to a huge aha moment for the kids. As the Day 2 answer key shows, even though popcorn earns more profit per individual item, water's massive volume of 80 expected sales yields a $52 total profit. Compare that to popcorn, which only brings in $30 total. This mathematically proves to the students that a higher profit per item doesn't automatically mean more money in the bank. Volume beats pure margin, and total profit equals profit per item multiplied by how many you actually sell.
That brings us to Section 4, Day 3, Game Day. So the hypothetical game is ended, the crowds have gone home, and it is time to face the music of real-world business. This is where the curriculum beautifully integrates rigorous fraction math. You see, the students didn't sell everything. They have unsold stock. They have to multiply a fraction by a whole number to discover their true sales. For instance, they find out they only sold 3/4 of their 80 waters. Well, 3/4 times 80 means they sold 60 bottles, leaving 1/4 as unsold waste. They also only sold 1/2 of their 40 popcorns, which is 20 bags. Calculating this gives them their finalized real-world game day profit of $59.
But day 3 isn't over just yet. The curriculum throws one final, ultimate capstone business question at them. A supplier comes along and offers 100 bottles of water for $30 for the next game. That breaks down to exactly 30 cents each. That is literally the lowest unit price they have seen in the entire simulation. So, I'm asking you, is it a smart buy?
Let's break down why this is actually a terrible deal. Yes, 30 cents a bottle is the lowest unit price. However, the students literally just calculated that the real demand is only about 60 bottles per game. Buying 100 means they are absolutely guaranteed to waste about 40 bottles. That translates to $12 of entirely unsold, wasted stock. This perfectly proves the core philosophy of the unit. The lowest unit price is not a real deal if you can't actually use the product. It brilliantly forces students to weigh price against true demand.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Scaffolding and Assessment.
A major concern with a project this rigorous is how to support learners who might struggle with the raw calculations. Fortunately, the curriculum differentiates seamlessly. While a standard task requires the student to set everything up from scratch, the scaffolded version provides started computations, like setting up the division problem, and includes sentence frames to help them articulate their answers. The brilliant part is that the critical business judgment, the actual decision-making, remains entirely on the student's shoulders. The math is supported, sure, but the thinking is never watered down.
On top of that, the assessment strategy is highly effective and incredibly realistic. Teachers aren't just hunting for one singular correct answer. Instead, they grade using a 3-point reasoning rubric. Students are scored on their decimal and fraction work, their ability to prioritize unit price over appearance, their balancing of margin versus volume and waste, and finally, how well they defend their call using the actual numbers. It grades their quantitative defense and their evidence-based choices.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for this explainer. The capstone reflection for this entire unit asks students to articulate a specific moment when a good number, like a big package or a really low unit price, was actually a bad business choice. It begs the question for all of us. Are we teaching students to just find the numbers or to actually think beyond them? The concession stand proves that with the right structure, we can empower 5th graders to do exactly that. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this leaves you eager to deploy or advocate for this kind of dynamic learning experience in classrooms everywhere.